Hello to all the City family members. I am Hee Ping. I'm very happy to be here today to share something with you. Today we have a sharing session where an elite from the medical field will talk about Three's technology, products, and market. At this year's annual meeting in Hong Kong in March, because he is very young, Dr. Luo Ying, who can be considered an elite in the medical field, attended the meeting. He met Kim, as well as our boss Daniel and our chief scientist, Dr. Dan. They had a great conversation. As a rising star and elite in the medical field, his views and understanding of Three, along with his personal experience trying the products and his insights there of great significance to our company Three in terms of market promotion. So the organization has asked me to interview Dr. Luo Ying today. Dr. Luo Ying holds a medical doctorate from the University of Kiel Medical School in Germany, and later went to Harvard Medical School in the United States. He completed his postdoctoral studies there. At the same time, he's also a doctor in Germany. He works as a surgeon at the affiliated hospital of the University of Freiburg. In addition to these titles, he also earned an MBA from IMD in Germany. Moreover, as a physician, he places great importance on clinical nutrition and has conducted considerable research in this field. He can truly be regarded as an elite in nutrition science. So today, we are honored to have Dr. Luo Ying with us to share his insights and experiences. Now, let's welcome Dr. Luo Ying. Hello, Luo Ying. It's truly an honor. As an elite in the medical field, it's wonderful to have you join Three. At this year's annual meeting in Hong Kong, you met our Kim, the boss, and Dr. Dan. So today, we are also very honored to invite you to join us online and share with all our partners as a medical expert. Could you share your impressions of Three? First, let's invite Dr. Luo Ying to briefly introduce herself.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hebing, for the introduction. I'm also very honored to have this opportunity to share with everyone today. Together, we'll discuss the power of technology in our eyes regarding Three. I'm Luo Ying. Actually, Mr. Hebing just gave a pretty thorough introduction. As you can tell from the title, Dr. Luo Ying, I've indeed spent quite a bit of time in the field of medicine. As just mentioned, I studied medicine in Germany and earned my medical doctorate there. Then went on to do my postdoctoral research at Harvard in the United States. My research has always focused on oncology. After practicing medicine for many years, I realized the limitations of being a doctor because of the constraints of my own time and energy. Even if I worked year-round without a break, I could only help a few thousand patients each year. So in order to help more patients, and also because of my interest in business, I later moved on to this field. I joined Fortune 500 pharmaceutical and medical technology companies working as an executive at their US headquarters. At my peak, I led a global business worth nearly $1 billion. I was also quite fortunate at the time. Very quickly, I reached the ceiling for salaried employees. Even in this situation, I gradually realized that my time was indeed becoming less and less my own, and I had less and less freedom in how I allocated my energy. Moreover, what was very regrettable was that increasingly found that the drugs or medical devices we spent billions of dollars developing were ultimately only used to treat patients who were already ill, or even those in the terminal stages of their illness, instead of taking the initiative to prevent and treat stomach problems. So this issue has always troubled me. And it wasn't until I encountered Spring Dawa after listening for a bit, I realized that as
a medical doctor from a medical school, a postdoctoral fellow at Harvard Medical School, and with many years of clinical experience as a surgeon. So after listening to what you just said, I wonder if this should be considered one of the reasons you chose Three as your platform?
Well, as I just mentioned, the reason I chose the Three platform is that I had a lot of confusion. It wasn't until I encountered Three that things changed. Actually, what's interesting is that when I was first introduced to Three, my instinct was to resist it. But when I calmed down and really took the time to read and think about its 12 absorption technologies and the research reports on absorption rates, its product patterns, unique ingredients, and the clinically effective epigenetics, as well as when I checked each of its products one by one on the PDR website, PDRnet, I discovered something. All of Three's promotional claims are actually true, and each one is backed by solid evidence. Its product strength and technological capabilities far surpass those of ordinary nutritional supplement companies. So after my research day, I can say that I found it to be a disruptive biotechnology company. My initial resistance to it actually stemmed from my lack of understanding, or rather from my own ignorance. So actually, this is the main reason why I believe in Three's technological strength of its products. Not only does it offer what others don't, but it also has things that are uniquely its own. Specifically, after spending some time researching, I've summarized its uniqueness into 4 aspects. This uniqueness is also what attracts me the most, especially regarding its products and technology. The first point is the uniqueness of its product ingredients. Right now, most companies in the nutritional supplement market, when they make a product, when it comes to their products, what most companies do is simply pick up the phone and call their supplier saying, hey, I want to make a product with such and such ingredient. The supplier then provides them with the raw materials from their own inventory. The raw materials they supply to this company are exactly the same as what they provide to other companies sometimes. They're completely identical. Yes, they are exactly the same, just with a different label slapped on. Products like this, with these kinds of ingredients, are actually extremely common on the market. But with Three, what sets them apart is that they search all over the world for the latest plant-based nutritional ingredients. Then they combine these with clinically proven effective nutrients to create unique product formulations. This is their first distinctive feature, the uniqueness of their product ingredients. The second unique aspect is the exceptional absorption rate. There's a saying in English that goes, you are what you eat. What this really means is people are, in fact, made by what they eat. But now there's an even more revolutionary idea in the second half of that saying. Now we say you are what you absorb, meaning you are made by what you actually absorb. If I were to use a parallel phrase, it would be people are what they truly absorb. Absorption determines your quality. So absorption is the most important thing. In our real lives in today's society, as I just mentioned, there are actually 12 absorption technologies in Three. These range from carrier technologies to micelles to molecular shuttles and so on. All of these are effective patented technologies. These scientific and absorption technologies help their products achieve absorption rates that are 3 to 9.5 times higher than similar products on the market. This is truly an extraordinary achievement. This is what makes their absorption rate uniquely outstanding, their second major advantage. And then there's another unique aspect. What is the third one? It's the uniqueness of its clinical effects. In fact, if you take a close look at their research in epigenetics, you'll see that this is truly an extraordinary accomplishment because it explains how their 4 products regulate 6 major genes. And actually, even in the medical or pharmaceutical field, this is something you rarely see, even among drug manufacturers. Even the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world find it difficult to provide truly objective third-party data to prove exactly how their drugs regulate certain genes. Yet, a biotechnology and nutritional supplement company has actually managed to achieve this. This is something that truly amazes me, the fact that they have validated its effectiveness from a clinical and research perspective. In addition, although I myself am not yet at a very advanced age, I have personally taken Three's products. I found that after taking Three's products for 2 months, I noticed 3 significant changes in myself. And these changes were things that I had never achieved before, whether I was taking other medications or other dietary supplements. These 3 changes are, first, my hair has become noticeably thicker. Anyone who knows me is aware that there was a period when I was losing a lot of hair, probably due to significant stress. Second, my chronic urticaria, which I've had for many years specifically, cholinergic urticaria, has improved. Because I enjoy exercising, every time I worked out, my whole body would itch. Over the years, even the world's top dermatologists have tried to help me, but none of them were able to cure it. And then the third change is that I specifically went to the hospital for a follow-up on my thyroid. After taking this for 2 months, I was pleasantly surprised to find that the thyroid nodule I've had for many years had finally shrunk from 3.5 millimeters to 2 millimeters. So as people often say, doctors can't treat themselves. But I suddenly realized that through Three, I was able to treat myself very well rather than relying on the medications or other methods I used before, or even those dietary supplements. At the same time, I also did some self-reflection and carried out more exploration and research. I went to the world's largest medical literature database and searched through it one by one. The ingredients in our 3 products, especially things like resveratrol and curcumin, for example, I found that these have actually already been thoroughly validated in the medical community and can be used to treat a great many diseases, probably as many as 100 different kinds. This includes everything from cardiovascular and cerebral vascular diseases to respiratory, digestive, urinary tract, skin conditions, and so on. So actually, everyone is very fortunate to be working with the products on the Three platform. And as you all know, they are research-based. When presenting this, we are also using many of our patients' medical examination reports as evidence, so everyone can stand tall and confidently share about it. with such an excellent product, this is what makes the third uniqueness its unparalleled effectiveness. Now, the last uniqueness is about authoritative certification. And here we have to mention the PDR. The English abbreviation has two interpretations, but we usually refer to it as the physician's desk reference, which is an American physician's desk reference. So what exactly is it used for? In fact, the physician's desk reference in the United States is primarily used by American doctors and even doctors worldwide as a reference when they need to prescribe medication. They consult the PDR to help them assess the safety, effectiveness, and even the effects of the drug on patients, among other things. However, only a small number of nutritional supplement companies are able to have their supplements included in the PDR. What does this mean? It means that their nutritional supplements already meet pharmaceutical standards. Such a standard, whether in terms of safety, efficacy, its metabolism within the human body in 45 minutes, or its manufacturing process meeting FDA factory standards. And so all of these aspects indirectly prove the true strength of a nutritional supplement company and the genuine medicinal value of its products. And this is authoritatively certified and endorsed. There are thousands of nutritional supplement companies around the world, and their quality really varies greatly. However, Three is the only company whose entire range of supplements can be included in the PDR, which is an extremely remarkable and authoritative certification. So taking into account the four unique aspects I just mentioned, you can see how this relates to each product, especially the 6 oral supplements. You can really feel it. For example, let me give you a few quick examples. Take Vita, for instance. Just one packet is equivalent to maybe 20 or 30 different bottles and jars you find on the market. It truly is a highly cost-effective product that provides comprehensive nutritional support for the whole body. As for berberine, as I just mentioned, it's actually a substance that has already been thoroughly studied in clinical settings. It can help fight cancer, has antioxidants and even anti-inflammatory properties, and also helps protect cardiovascular health, among other benefits. And as for Revive, which uses curcumin as its core ingredient, it can be considered the gold standard for anti-inflammation. It can effectively help the body overcome inflammation, and at the same time, it also aids in the recovery of muscles and joints. As for the detox product, Purify, it is currently the only product in the world that can detoxify all 5 major organs at the same time. In addition, there are 2 other products. One is the vaccine, which is also the only product in the world that can simultaneously activate both of the body's immune defenses. And as for collagen, KOS, not only does it have an exceptionally high absorption rate, it is also the only collagen peptide that can stimulate your body to produce its own collagen. How does that work? Because it follows a 10 days on, 20 days off cycle. You take it for 10 days, then stop for 20 days. During the 10 days, it supplements your collagen peptides, and in the remaining 20 days, it promotes your body to generate its own collagen peptides. So after quickly reviewing these 6 products, you can honestly say, without exaggeration, that in the future, because these 4 are unique, because these 6 oral products, what about the future? In the future, companies in the nutritional supplement industry will only fall into 2 categories. One is called Three, and the other is all the other nutritional supplement companies apart from Three. Just now, I was actually talking about the technological strengths, the product strengths, and about Three. But another major reason why I chose the Three platform is the people. Because of this, actually, you'll find that at Three, I always encounter a group of people who shine, especially as teacher He Bing just mentioned at the annual meeting in Hong Kong this March. That was truly my first time getting up close and personal with the people of Three. So what kind of people are these? For example, there's King Hui-hei, truly is a remarkable leader, someone who radiates great love and selflessness, a person who shines. And who else shines? There's Dr. Dan He, possesses unparalleled wisdom and is able to create such outstanding products. And then there's Daniel Pico, the company's CEO and founder. Even though he is a highly professional manager, you can see that on stage, he also shows a softer side beneath his tough exterior. He can be moved to tears. He can be touched. This gentle and emotional light also moves me deeply. Besides that, there are so many leaders and partners around me who support me, like President Ding, Samson, Chloe, and our teacher He Ping. Each of them is truly unique. But each of them shares one common trait. They are all super radiant individuals. Besides these unique people, these truly special individuals I see, I also notice that there are many people who are similar to me. How should I explain this? I see so many people who are like me, people with similar backgrounds, because I see many doctors also sharing their experiences on stage about using Three to treat their patients. I also learned that in the United States, there are more than 2,000 doctors on the Three platform who are using Three's products to help their patients. All these lights, these countless rays of lights coming together really moved me deeply. Their sincere and kind sharing also made me realize that Three is something with very certain results. and the process can be replicated. The key lies in this question. Who are you? Why do you want to do this? As for me, I also thought about it, and I have given it a lot of careful consideration for a long time before joining Three. However, after I decided to join, I had only one goal, which I can share with everyone through Three, my partners, and I truly want to help more than 1 million people gain the ability for proactive preventive healthcare. This is what I value most, because besides truly bringing you wealth and health, Three can genuinely help you achieve the meaning and value of your life. Well, everyone, that's my sharing about why I chose Three.
Wow, that was fantastic. Why do I say that? Because your experience, when you talk about it, is truly convincing. People really believe it because you approach it with a completely scientific perspective. You've experienced it yourself, and you've also done extensive research and investigation. The conclusions you just shared come from all of that. And I think the information and experiences you shared about why you chose Three are extremely helpful for many people online when they share with friends around them. In the past 10 or 20 years, clinical nutrition has started to enter the medical field. From this perspective, we've also heard Dr. Dan talk about these concepts many times. And even this January, China's health publishing house even published a book on clinical nutrition this January. This shows that clinical nutrition has started to be integrated into clinical practice and treatment. So I'd also like to invite Dr. Luo Wei to give us an introduction on this topic.
Okay, thank you, Teacher Hibing. The question you raised is excellent because although it seems simple, it is actually a topic that has a profound impact on the future of medicine. Actually, since I am also a doctor myself, one of the major pain points doctors face within the traditional medical framework is that chronic diseases are often treated symptomatically rather than at the root. For example, situations like this often occur in fact. I frequently encounter such patients. What kind of situations am I talking about? Take hypertensive patients, for example. Even though they take a lot of antihypertensive medication and their blood pressure does reach the target, it doesn't actually stop the progression of their arteriosclerosis. Or take diabetic patients, they rely on insulin, but the root cause of insulin resistance hasn't been addressed. Or for most medications, when we take them, they often cause many side effects, which in turn lead to new health problems. As doctors, we are often called firefighters because what we often do is, our weapons are basically medications or surgeries to fight against certain diseases. But actually, these pain points I just mentioned have made me increasingly aware that real medicine isn't about putting out the fire because by then it's already too late and damage has already been done. Instead, it's more about igniting a spark of health, and that spark actually lies in each person's nutritional intake. So to actually answer the question you just asked, I might need to take another step back and think about a very fundamental issue. What is the true nature of disease? This question is probably a very, very fundamental, a truly essential question. So what exactly is the nature of disease? In my view, and actually this is a consensus shared by many predecessors in the fields of medicine and nutrition, the essence of disease is that the rate of cellular damage exceeds the rate of repair. The human body is actually made up of cells about 37 trillion or so. When the number of cells that die reaches around 20% of the total, that's when the person will die. Now, without any external interference, as everyone knows, each cell has its own metabolic cycle. For example, vascular endothelial cells undergo metabolism and apoptosis within a single day. As for the gastric mucosa, it renews every 3 to 5 days. The stratum corneum of the skin takes 28 days, while the brain, in fact, does not regenerate throughout a person's lifetime. So actually, these cells are constantly renewing themselves, and it's through regeneration that they repair any damage. So over the course of a person's life, it's actually a continuous process of cellular self-repair. The essence of illness is that the rate of cellular damage far exceeds the rate of cellular repair. In hospitals, we often see many cases around coronary heart disease, hypertension, tumors, depression, asthma, kidney disease, and so on. These are all chronic diseases. Many countries are trying every possible way to prevent these chronic diseases because they bring a huge economic burden. However, at present, in hospitals, the most commonly used approach is still what's called antagonistic therapy. What does that mean? It means, for example, if my blood pressure is high, I take antihypertensive medication. If my blood sugar is high, I take hypoglycemic drugs. If a tumor appears, then chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or surgical removal, and so on. But in fact, with this approach, you often find that after spending all that money and becoming the thinnest, in the end, people still sadly pass away. So this leads us to a new direction of thinking. Is this traditional antagonistic therapy really the most effective method? So in fact, the answer is obvious. After all this time, with Western medicine being popular for so long, it still hasn't truly helped to ultimately cure many diseases. So then, what is the real ultimate solution to true health? Actually, this miracle cure is right by our side. This is exactly what just now, Teacher He-Ping, you mentioned clinical nutrition, or if we speak more broadly, nutrition science. Because through nutritional supplementation, what can we achieve? We can provide the raw materials needed for cell repair during the ongoing battle between cell damage and repair. And these are the only things that cells can actually use as raw materials, namely nutrients. So coming back to the question you just raised, we can quickly draw a conclusion. Nutrition is indeed gradually gaining more attention. As you just mentioned, the National Health Commission and the inclusion of clinical nutrition in the 14th Five-Year Plan teaching materials, this book being introduced for clinical application actually signifies that clinical nutrition in mainland China has truly entered a new stage. And in fact, this is truly the first textbook specifically designed for clinical medical students. This also serves as further positive evidence that after hundreds or even thousands of years of development, medicine is finally returning to the essence of disease. Because for medical professionals, when they truly begin their work, in one hand they hold medicine and surgery, and in the other they hold nutritional science. This is similar to the concept of wielding both the heaven-reliant sword and the dragon saber being prepared on both fronts to truly help patients. Correspondingly, you can actually imagine that as a doctor, I really envy today's medical students. Why? Because in the future, they would truly possess two core competencies. One is called the ability to prescribe medication to fight diseases. The other ability is what we call the ability to prescribe nutrition, which truly helps to restore health. And then regarding the book you mentioned, I also went back and took another look at it. In fact, there are many people's efforts behind it. And ultimately, what is their goal? They want to turn nutritional support into nutritional therapy and elevate nutritional therapy to a frontline treatment. This is truly remarkable because in the past, we always said, if you get sick, you go get a prescription, have surgery, and then maybe supplement with some nutrition. In fact, you'll notice that many clinical nutrition departments are quite inconspicuous, tucked away in a corner, and many hospitals don't even have one. But now, with this new concept, when you prioritize nutritional therapy, you'll find that many diseases actually don't require medication or surgery. Simply by providing a reasonable diet and proper nutrition, you can treat these long-term chronic illnesses. I think this is truly revolutionary. And this, coming back to all the partners at Three, you are actually at the forefront of this medical revolution. Why is that? Most of you, or rather most of us, are not doctors, but we are even better than doctors in some ways. As I just mentioned, doctors are like the heaven-reliant sword and dragon-slaying saber. But at the very least, you already have ahead of time a weapon, whether you call it the hidden heaven sword or the dragon-slaying saber. You already have a weapon in your hands. With this weapon, you can use the cutting-edge biotechnology, the cellular nutrients, and phytonutrients provided by Three to help others. Your cells, the people around you, and the speed at which your cells repair themselves. As a result, you can achieve the effect of recovering from and curing diseases. This is truly extraordinary.
Yes, that was very well said. So professional. Just now you mentioned nutrition, organic, and clinical nutrition. Currently, the main raw ingredients in nutrition come from organic plants, right? But many people, influenced by the past several decades or even longer, have this idea that when you get sick, you have to take medicine. By medicine, they mean Western medicinians, if everything basically depends on Western drugs to cure and treat illnesses. But through clinical nutrition, the main sources of nutrition actually come from organic plants. So I also want to see if Dr. Luo Ying can talk to us a bit about this. Why do organic phytonutrients have such a good effect on human health? Or, in other words, how do they help improve sub-health conditions and complement clinical treatments? Let's see if Dr. Luo Ying can give us an introduction.
I understand. Thank you, Teacher Hebei, for your question. Actually, if we trace back to the origins, you'll find that the development of clinical nutrition in ancient China was much earlier than in the West. Why is that? In fact, there are many insights and practices reflected in traditional Chinese medicine, dietary therapy, and medicinal cuisine. For example, in the classic of Mountains and Seas, it is recorded that 5,000 years ago, Shennon tasted hundreds of herbs to distinguish between food, medicine, and poison. So, in fact, it was about searching for food and medicine from nature, which initiated the history of China's natural grains and natural medicine. You'll notice, as you just mentioned about food, that there are actually all kinds of nutrients in it, such as proteins, minerals, or the basic vitamins we commonly consume, and so on. However, there is a category of food that may not be so-called essential nutrients, but they are still very important for maintaining human health. They play a very important role in regulating physiological functions and preventing diseases. We generally refer to them as bioactive components in food. For example, the resveratrol and curcumin I just mentioned are both polyphenolic phytochemicals, which means they are directly extracted from plants rather than being chemically synthesized in a laboratory. This is a fundamental difference. As for chemically synthesized substances, as I just mentioned, there's a saying that all medicines have some toxicity, which is actually a concept from Western medicine. When I synthesize these chemical compounds, they really can treat certain symptoms of your diseases. But if you think about it, these things are essentially artificial constructs, completely man-made, or in other words, they are substances that do not naturally exist in the world. It was created to treat some of your symptoms, but you will find that it would definitely bring some side effects. Or in other words, its efficacy may not be as good as some plant nutrients. So what about phytonutrients? In fact, if you really study it carefully, you will find that, what I just mentioned started with, there's such an effect. Then they are, and a lot of current clinical studies are reporting that plant nutrients themselves they might be used to fight microorganisms, kill viruses and bacteria, or inhibit tumor growth factors, or even regulate your body's immune system. Or they might help your body with antioxidant effects, removing free oxygen radicals. So as doctors, we actually used to treating diseases with the chemical drugs I just mentioned. But in fact, nature itself is a pharmacy. These things are actually hidden in vegetables, fruits, and so on. Or in the nutrients found in medicinal herbs. These are increasingly being used for medical interventions. In fact, there are 600 zero plant species worldwide, but currently less than 5% have truly been developed and utilized. So when something I strongly advocate for, or rather something I deeply appreciate, is that many of our scientists, especially these so-called scientists, when we talk about the future of medicine, we really can't just focus on those synthetic molecular structures in the laboratory. We should pay more attention to the plants growing in the soil. These things have evolved over hundreds of millions of years, and surely they contain some secrets for safeguarding human health hidden within these plants. Of course, what I want to say is, why is it that plant nutrients have never really been fully utilized? In fact, they have their own pain points. What is their pain point? It's their bioavailability, which has always been a bottleneck. This means that these beneficial nutrients cannot actually be well absorbed by the human body. Generally, the absorption rate is less than 5%, and at best, it might reach around 10%. But basically, the absorption rate is always in the single digits. As I just mentioned, by using certain scientific techniques, specifically technologies that enhance absorption, we can help these organic plant nutrients be better absorbed by the human body. And as for these scientific or absorption technologies, you can rest assured and simply leave them to companies like Three, because they can focus very professionally on developing these absorption technologies and thereby provide support in this area, so that effective phytonutrients can be better absorbed by the human body. So to sum up, what I just said can actually be summarized in one sentence. As Coach Zong often says, medical nutrition cannot do without nutrition science, and nutrition science in turn cannot do without the contributions of biotech supplement companies like Three, which focus on cellular repair and anti-aging. This is my view on what teacher he just mentioned about phytonutrients, or a quick summary of our clinical nutrition as well.
Wow, that was excellent. Absolutely excellent. Especially your last two summaries. Medicine cannot do without phytonutrients, and phytonutrients in turn require companies like Three, which possess advanced technology and expertise in areas such as gene regulation and inflammation suppression. Companies with this new generation of nutrient technology are truly outstanding. Indeed, I completely agree as well.
Yes.
The raw materials for phytonutrients, these organic plants have gone through at least millions or tens of millions, and in some cases even hundreds of millions of years of history. Throughout this long evolutionary process, these plants have survived, which shows they possess three major characteristics. First, extremely strong vitality. Second, highly effective antibodies. And third, remarkable self-healing abilities. So this is exactly what you just mentioned about Shenong tasting hundreds of herbs, which refers to the concept of medicine and food sharing the same origin. Therefore, phytonutrients are the best food and the best medicine for humans. Thank you, Dr. Rong Yi, for just sharing those three parts with us. One part was about why he chose Three. Three has many advantages, especially the four unique aspects he mentioned. The second part was about introducing clinical nutrition to us and its unique role when combined with clinical therapeutics. Third, he shared with us the importance of phytonutrients for health and explained it extremely well. I think this information is something that our Three team members should talk about more, especially when sharing Three with friends around us and promoting the concept of proactive health management. So today, we are very grateful to Dr. Rong Yi for sharing this information with us. In the future, we hope to have more opportunities to draw on Dr. Rong Yi's professional knowledge and unique insights in this area so that millions of consumers can achieve and maintain good health.
Thank you, Teacher Heavy. Actually, we just discussed a lot and your summary was spot on. I often attend your lectures because you are very well known at Three. You have done a lot of research from the perspectives of policy, society, and economics. You just happened to mention proactive health, and actually all the topics we've discussed today can be placed under the umbrella of proactive health. So I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you about this. From a macro policy or microeconomic perspective, how do you view the issue of proactive health?
You're the expert here asking us about this. Actually, I can only look at this issue from the perspective of a consumer, from sociology and from a strategic standpoint. Because for humanity, the modern medical treatment system, especially Western medicine, has been present in China for over 100 years now. Particularly since the reform and opening up, medicine has developed significantly, hospitals have made great progress, and there have been major advancements in medical technology, pharmaceuticals, and equipment. The government's investment in healthcare has also been increasing, and the educational level of doctors is getting higher and higher. Nowadays, most doctors and clinicians in top-tier hospitals are medical masters or PhDs. With all these favorable conditions, logically, we should be seeing fewer and fewer patients. But in reality, that's not the case. In fact, the number of patients is increasing, and more people are in a sub-health state. As for the reason, I think it's because our human society has long lacked health education and a proper concept of health. Although the legendary physician Bianche talked about the 3 levels of doctors and the importance of prevention over 2,000 years ago, and although governments around the world have been advocating for prevention and traditional Chinese medicine treatment in recent decades, when it comes to this concept, the practical application of these techniques and ultimately enabling people to maintain their health and prevent disease, there's still a lack of further health education and health technologies. So I feel that when I heard Dr. Dan from our company share with us the concept of proactive wellness, active health management over 2 years ago, I was extremely excited because it not only talked about the concept itself, but also discussed some related technologies. Based on my own experiences over the past year, and even further back, my more than 10 years of experience in anti-aging lifestyle technology, I personally interpret proactive wellness as being made up of 3 components. The first is very simple. A healthy lifestyle. Many sub-health conditions nowadays are caused by unhealthy lifestyles. So to achieve proactive wellness, we actually don't need to spend money, just don't let unhealthy habits affect us. Second, I believe that our ancestors' traditional wellness practices are also extremely valuable, going to bed early and getting up early, exercising in moderation, and eating nutritious meals. These don't cost money either, but they are the foundation and prerequisite for good health. So once we do well in this first 2 areas, maintaining a healthy lifestyle and following traditional wellness practices, we can effectively maintain and improve our health and even support the treatment of diseases. But just doing this alone is not enough. It's still not sufficient. We should also add something extra to enhance it. And this extra enhancement is exactly what Dr. Rong Yi, you just mentioned. You've seen the advancements Three has made in technology, especially in terms of product development, particularly the progress in nutrient absorption, the development in technology, the progress in products, the advancements in organic plant nutrients, and clinical nutrition. By integrating all of these, I believe we can truly achieve that extra enhancement. So Three is precisely using its proactive health philosophy along with new technologies and new products to give us a more complete and systematic concept of disease prevention. Therefore, in the process of market promotion and sharing, I think we should organically combine all of these aspects. We need to talk not only about the concept of proactive health, but also about the unique technologies behind our company's organic plant nutrients and how these differ from traditional nutrients so that consumers understand why they should adopt proactive health measures to protect their own and their family's well-being. Secondly, they should know that Three has such a vast technology and that it represents a new generation of innovation, which gives everyone confidence. I think this is my understanding of proactive health. It's about providing an objective and systematic sharing, not like in the past when some traditional health industry companies or individuals would share in a way that was often commercially driven, always talking about how great their products are, telling you to use this one because it's good, or that one because it's good, and that you should use them all. Often, this kind of commercial promotion even involves exaggerated claims, and it's rare to see sharing that features innovative, cutting-edge scientific technologies or systematic sharing of certain concepts. I truly believe that these are, in fact, exactly the kinds of important things that Sunway absolutely must do and should continue to focus on in promoting proactive and comprehensive health management in the post-pandemic era.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Teacher He Bin. what you said has made me even more certain that what the Sandway platform and this company are doing is truly revolutionary. You are genuinely considering the health of all humanity, which is truly remarkable. Thank you for sharing. I've learned a lot again. Thank you so much.
Well, it looks like we've been chatting for dozens of minutes now. Once again, I sincerely want to thank and truly appreciate Dr. Luo for bringing us such positive, valuable, and impactful insight. This important information indeed gives us even more confidence in Sandway as a company, its innovative products, and the very promising future of its market expansion. I also genuinely hope that we'll have even more opportunities to thoughtfully discuss this kind of important information with Dr. Luo online in the future. Thank you all so much for your attention. Of course, we also hope that more experts and scholars like Dr. Luo, especially those with a medical background, will join our various teams. By sharing your insights and contributions, you can help broaden Sandway's vision and enable people around the world to achieve even greater health benefits. All right. Thank you, Dr. Luo, and thank you to all our friends online. See you next time. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you. Bye-bye.